That's halftime. We have that final. Well, let's talk about a couple things first. Let's talk about Vandy. Wow. We talked about a game plan. Kev says we're going to be physical. We're going to run the clock down. We're going to take baskets when we have it. If not, we're going to wait late in the clock. We're going to corral John Wall to make him make passes. We're not going to play zone like everybody says you should. We're going to make them take tougher threes so they don't get off on making threes like they did in Lexington, Kentucky. And then the coach on the other team calls one of the dumbest timeouts that he's ever called in his career with 2.5 seconds to go. Let me just tell you what I was going to do. If he made the first, now you're going to think I'm crazy, I was going to tell him to miss the second because they didn't have a timeout. And I thought the best they would go is 2 dribbles and a half-court throw, which they may have banked in, and then we would have lost in regulation. But I didn't want to do that. And then my team is so young, my choice was let them go and put my head in the sands, and I said, you know, I'm going to call this. And as soon as I called, I said, I just gave Kevin a chance to set up what a great coach he is set up, which was the shot that, I don't know, it just didn't go. And as I left the timeout, I said, guys, this is the stupidest timeout I've ever called. Please make me look good. Somebody do something. So, but I thought John Wall's defense at the end, Eric Bledsoe, who did not play particularly well, defended and rebounded and had a will to win. Patrick Patterson was one of his toughest games he's played all year, rebounding the ball and doing his thing. DeAndre Liggins is really playing good. Should be starting for us, but I'm going to continue to bring him off the bench. But you know, hats off to Vandy. I've coached a long time, and that was an Elite Eight environment. That was 2 teams slugging it out, doing what they had to try to win the game.
Coach, how tough was it coming from the baseline instead of usually on the sideline? Was it tough? Could they hear you very well?
You know, when I started coaching, I didn't. You know, he was on the baseline too, and you know. The only thing is the official's so close to you, you're saying stuff to him. You know, you're right in their ear. I haven't had a technical all year, knock on wood. I hope I end the year without one, and I didn't want to get one today, but there were a couple plays that I just said you cannot let that go. And you know, now you're right on top of an official, and I don't feel comfortable that way. But you know, when Vandy comes to us next year, we're going to put those benches in the end zone. Probably.
Well, about 6 minutes left. You called John all the way down. They were shooting free throws up 4. You were bringing DeMarcus back in. Do you remember what you told John at that point?
I said 2 things. I said, tell your team we're throwing him the ball inside, and you got to look for opportunities to go make things happen. Try to speed the ball up the court even on makes and see if you can get to the rim. That's what I said to him. And he played the whole second half. I mean, I didn't sub him, and I was trying to think of ways to get him out, but the game was just too tight a game.
Are you still in some ways searching for ways to get him to the rim more? I mean,
not really. I mean, we have a few things that we were doing, but you know, you know, when we get it out and run and they're stopping him and he's getting other guys shot, that's just as good. You know, we passed up some shots and I got upset because they ended up being walks, you know, or turnovers. Just shoot the ball. And part of that is because we're not. You think about this. We just shot the ball 35% on the road, 18% from the line, 56% from the free throw line, 18 from the 3, and had 14 turnovers and won. I love it. That is exactly the win I love to have, where there's no, and on the road. Let me put it this way, to a top 20 team. Top 19, top 15 team, whatever. The way they play today, I think they'll move up in the polls.
Was it because the defense was the critical?
You got to grind it, Jerry. You got to be a team that can grind it. Now, we want to play fast. Everybody knows how I coach. We want to try to score 100, but if you want us to play in the 50s, we'll play in the 50s and we'll try to beat you. If you want to play a zone, then we'll try to beat you that way. We don't force our will on the other team. We want to play different ways. When you get in that NCAA tournament, you don't know if you're playing a team that's going to play Princeton, play fast, so you got to beat them. You got to beat them anyway. So this was one of those ones. I love this. Shooting 35% and 18 from the 3 and winning anyway. Coach,